recording. Hi there, creepy robot voice. We'll be hearing that creepy robot voice over and over again over this semester. You're right, that was really dumb. Which brings me to the goose horn. Remember this? Okay, every time I've learned that to keep me motivated and keep you in attention, I've instituted this goose horn. Every time I make a stupid mistake like that, I am morally obliged to commit fornicature. I do this for three reasons. One, to keep me honest. Two, to keep you alert so you can, humiliate me. That's good. It's a good game. And three, to prove to you that if someone who's fallible can do this stuff, then maybe you can do it too. All right, so we're recording. Let's go back and go over the course in more detail. Okay, like I said, here's the home page, the first thing you'll see when you enter it. Here's a fractal. Like I said, I made it by Xerox machine only. People think I did it by computer. No. The only computation was in my head. And I have about several hundred of these, so these fractals. So I'll show you each time we start the class. We're taught by remote instructions. Click on modules for most of the material. Click on the inbox to hand in homeworks, extra credit sets, quizzes in the final, and to contact me and ask questions about what to do and so on. There's a discussion section, which I recommend that you use to discuss the material of the course. City Zoom, here is how you attend Zoom sessions. Contact me by Canvas. Here's a video. Here's some basic information. Here's a picture of the textbook. All right, modules. Oh, that was this. Here's again more information, basic information. Here's a basic syllabus information repeated, the video, name, face, etc. Information, textbook, cover. This I go over, mention some of the many stuff. For example, here's a scale, and the same thing about how to navigate this and the topics. Also, next, where is this going? How come it's not doing anything? Okay, fine, it's acting like that. Sometimes the thing hangs up. And I hope this does, every so often, my modem overheats and the thing just shuts down. I bought a fan and keep the window open, and I hope that'll prevent it. Uh-oh, it's saying exactly that. My internet connection is unstable. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's go back up to modules. Okay, fine. Yes, here is, if you want some support on how to navigate Canvas, here's a phone number. There's some also, click on the question mark. Here's a website to click on. Here's some services to step off. All right. Now, here are some downloadable files. This, if you click here, will give you the syllabus. This contains all the information on the things I've just been showing. Title, of course, when it is, where it is, my name, my phone number. This is my personal email. I'd rather not use it unless it's absolute emergency. The textbook, name, topics covered, the scale, and something called student learning outcomes, which apparently I have to include, but it doesn't say a whole lot, but the administration insists I include it. Let's see. Yes, and if you want a hard copy of this thing, click on here, and this will give you a connection to Firefox and a Word file, which you can print out, etc. Let's see. Syllabus. Homework. Yes, here. I recommend downloading this definitely. This is the homework for each chapter, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'll ask you a couple of questions about this. Is any curious qualities about these numbers here? Anything that comes to mind? Anyone? Say something. And for example, what do all these numbers have in common?
Even numbers.
They're even numbers. Why?
Because there's only answers to even numbers.
No. I have answers to even numbers. The book has answers to the odd numbers in the back, you see. So that's ones I won't be assigning you. Okay. Notice also, what else is there in common that you see here? Some of these,
Numbers on the right are starred.
yeah, these are
Assuming those are for the test.
Credit.
no, these are extra credit. All
Okay.
these are extra credit.
Oh,
This is an extra credit section. Every section, well, almost every section, maybe not this one, but almost every section has at least one extra credit problem, sometimes two. And some chapters have extra credit section in entirety. So this is a way for you to get ahead. When I grade, I put the point, I divide the points you got by the points you could have gotten, and extra credit always goes into the numerator, never into the denominator. So you can there's no way you can lose except losing time. But
yeah, that's great.
I believe in incentivizing ambition, frankly, and I'm thinking of adding new sections if I get around time to it. So okay, so that's these. Thank you, I appreciate it too. I originally included extra credits as a way for people who are behind to catch up. It turns out it's usually a way for people who are ahead to get way ahead. But sometimes people do at the very end of the semester hand in just enough extra credit set to push them over from one grade level to the next one. What a relief, huh? So that's what's happening here. And now, the rest of this consists of lecture notes. For example, tomorrow I'll start off by giving lectures on midpoint and distance formulas. So here's what we'll be seeing. And here's the Pythagorean theorem and the distance formula resulting from it. And then I work out problems from, well, odd number problems, similar, like the ones I assigned you in the book, where I solve various problems. So this is section 1.1. And here, in fact, is an old video from last semester, so you can look it over now if you want. Then we can click to the next, section 1.2. That also I'll cover tomorrow, where we talk about circles and graphs and equations. So here's an equation, here it's graphs, an equation, it's graph, symmetries of graphs, intercepts, x and y intercepts, equations of circles right here. And again, I work out various examples of problems from odd number problems from 1-2 for you to see how that works. Let's see now. Also, there will be, also I have here the notes for quiz 1, which you'll notice is not yet published. I will publish it when it's I will publish quiz 1 for you to work on when the time comes. Well, after we finish chapter 2. Ditto, there is you can access quiz 2 as soon as I publish it, as soon as we finish chapter 4. These quizzes will cover in general about 2 problems per section in the chapters required. After quiz 5, after chapter 5, we'll publish the final, due by the end of the semester. It has 1 section per problem. And in addition to all those, there are these extra credit sets due at your leisure, voluntary, by the end of the semester. Here's one about binary volumes. And again, like all the rest, you can click on this to access and print out a hard copy for yourself. Here's a binary volume scale. 2 gills in a cup, 2 cups in a pint, 2 pints in a quart, 2 quarts in a pottle, 2 puddles in a gallon, 2 gallons in a peck, 2 pecks in a demi-bushel, 2 demi-bushels in a firkin, 2 firkins in a kilburkin, 2 kilburkins in a barrel, 2 barrels in a hogshead, 2 hogsheads in a pipe, and 2 pipes in a ton. If that sounds like an English drinking song, that's because that's what I cribbed it from. But apparently they use these lovely binary notations. And so here I ask 7 questions about how many what in a what. For example, how many gills in a ton? I'll work that one out you for free right now. Gills in a ton. To a cup, that's 1. To a pint, 2. Quart, 3. Pottle, 4. Gallon, 5. Peck, 6. Demi-bushel, 7. Firkin, 8. Kilburkin, 9. Barrel, 10. Hogshead, 11. Pipe, 12. And ton, 12. So gills in a ton is 2 times itself 13 times. 2 to the power 13. Hey, tell me, any of you have a calculator at hand? 2 to the power 13? Anyone? All right.
It's 8192.
No, 2. Oh, wait, let me double check. 2 to the 13. You're right.
Yeah.
8192. 8,192 gills in a ton. Okay, so that's one for. And okay, the rest are very similar. Pints in a quart, bottles in a peck, demi-bushels in a barrel, firkins. I love these names. Firkins in a pipe. I never even heard of a pipe before. Firkins, good lord. How many cups in a hogshead? I love this. So okay, there's that. So you can get 7 points by doing that. Here's a metric time scale. I use metric triangle. So okay, 60 seconds is a minute, 60 minutes is an hour, 24 hours is a day, 365 and a quarter days is an average year if you're averaging in leap days. And there's metric priests. A kilo means 1,000, a mega is a million, a giga is a billion, a tera is a trillion, a peta is a quadrillion, and an exa is a quintillion, 10 to the 18th power. So I ask you to calculate how many, 1 kilosecond is how many minutes, 1 megasecond, 1 million seconds is how many days, 1 billion seconds is how many years, 1 terasecond is about how many centuries, and so on, and reverse backwards. 1 hour is how many kiloseconds, 1 day is how many kiloseconds, a year is how many megaseconds, a century is how many gigaseconds, and a mega year is a terasecond. I should tell you that when I figured out that a megasecond is more or less 30 years, and I want to be more accurate from you for that, I felt a terrible sense of mortality. Last year, around the middle of last year, was it not? Yeah, around the middle of last. Oh no, it was the middle of this year, a couple of months ago this year. I invited my friends for a virtual second gigasecond party. So, and there are some questions. Epic of Gilgamesh was written 4,200 years ago. World's oldest known surviving literary work. How many gigaseconds was that? And Homo sapiens is about 30,000 years old. How many teraseconds? The dinosaurs died 45 million years ago. How many petaseconds? Life on Earth, universe's age, and a red dwarf star can shine for 1 trillion years in theory. In practice, I don't think anyone can be sure because the universe isn't that old yet. But anyhow, 1 trillion years is how many exaseconds? So that would be, you could make up to 16 X credit points. That's not nothing to sneeze at. So I allow that. And there's other things, figuring out Pythagorean triples. A Pythagorean triple is a triple of numbers a, b, and c, such as a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And to make whole number solutions to that, well, this is a formula for doing it. So then I give some examples: the 3, 4, 5 triangle, the 5, 12, 13 triangle, and I ask you to find 4 Pythagorean triangle triples. They're not similar to the 3, 4, 5 or the 5, 12, 13 or each other. And there's here's a section about adding cosines and sines. A cos b plus b sine, a cos x plus b sine x is root a squared plus b squared cosine of x plus arctan b over a. So I ask you to do 4 examples of that. Here is a problem involving given 2 angles and the distance between them, how far to the distant object. This is how your eyes work, with stereo vision. Here's a problem set involving inverse trigonometry. Given angle, inverse sines, given a sine, find us the angle that makes it. And so on. Or, so here's an extra credit set about finding the height of a tree. Given here you see it as an angle of elevation alpha. You go C and it's closer as an elevation of beta. How tall is the tree? It's a surveying issue. And of course, trigonometry is very useful for surveying. Here's something involving something called the called the pendulum, also the ambiguous case or side-side angle. Given an angle, a side, and the opposite side, what are the other two angles and what's the sideways side? It's an ambiguous case because there could be no solutions, one solution, or two solutions. So ask you to solve that. This is a problem involving complex numbers, which we'll be covering in chapter 5. So this is doing some complex number arithmetic and solving some complex number equations. And here, these next 12, they're all part of the same section, same problem set. I go over what I call hourly trigonometry. In other words, trigonometry of integer multiples of 15 degrees. So trig functions of 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90, 106, 120, 135, 150, 165, and 180 degrees. What are their trig functions? And I go over that. And this actually, quite amusingly, I think, I ask you to solve all possible triangles with such angles. There's only a finite number of them, and I ask you, if you wish, to find their sides and their area for all of them. So that way you'll have completed an entire section of mathematics. These last two sections involve what I call tangential addition. I define it as the tangent of a sum of arctangents, and I ask you to prove various identities. So for this one, I won't ask, I don't just want the answers, I want the steps. So generally. So okay, that covers what we, so that's what will be, that's what this module covers, these notes, these extra credits, etc. I believe I've covered everything. Here's the home page with its information. Here's the modules, which is most of what we'll be looking at with some basic information and the notes for all courses, all problems. Discussions, which I recommend that you use to talk to each other. And City Zoom, which is how you got here in the first place. So I do believe we have completed today's work.
What are the dates for the quizzes and the final exam?
Hard to say. Best I can say is that it's each quiz will be due, what did I say, third or fourth class after we finish that chapter. And the final, when all these, what you see is I'll post them, you see, I'll just post the quiz too, like this. I'll turn this, click this, and it turns published like that. And by golly, then you can access it. This is what it looks like. And you could unload it. And these are the problems. And I'm not letting you see any more. So that'd be the kind of thing that happens. Unpublish, update. Basically what I do is as soon as we finish chapter 2, I'll click those green buttons, and then you could access it yourself and work it out on home. I do not believe in synchronous timing. I do not believe in synchronous quizzing. I do not believe in timed tests. Math is supposed to be done at your leisure. That's the whole point. You're supposed to be doing it in the middle of the afternoon, drinking tea and listening to soft music, rather than at the last minute listening to heavy metal at 3 in the morning. That doesn't work. So okay. The answer to this is this quiz 1 is due on the fourth class after we finish chapter 2, and this quiz 2 will be due on the 4th class after we finish chapter 4, and final is due on the last day of the semester. I hope that helps. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome. So okay, and these as well, like I say, are due by the end of the semester. So okay, and yeah, I am so sorry that they've changed the textbook on me without telling me. So you may have to get it by Amazon, and almost certainly you can get it used because people just use these textbooks once. It's a pity, but there it is, and can probably get it at a lowered price as a result. Okay. All right then, let us conclude this.